Hey, we're going to start and get this last session finished here at the Fabricator stage. Couple quick reminders. Your Fabricator Challenge playing card, go ahead and get those in for a drawing tomorrow. And we're going to quickly get through this last one, the right tool for the job, the right tool for your business. I'm actually the presenter on this one, and you know, there's a couple quick questions. What was it that you attended coverings for, and what are you guys looking for? Tools. What else? Head back in the game. So getting back into it, getting things figured out again. Want to see what's new, what's out there. We're going to quickly go through this. Was there secrets that you were looking for? Kind of tool secrets, how to get back in. Yeah. You know, if there was kind of that sure path to success, and you know, the point that I wanted to make with these slides is that, hey, there's really not a lot of secrets out there. All the information we've been talking about is on the websites, it's available. You know, we're kind of looking for that unicorn, and that unicorn is, you know, we could create that unicorn with our system. We could find that unicorn, but we're looking for, you know, the difference is how we implement those things that we learn. You know, so the difference in having this knowledge is how effective we are at implementing them in our own organizations, and that's kind of what, you know, what we wanted to emphasize with this presentation is that, you know, how do you effectively change your organization? How do you take this back to your team and implement that change? Really quick, is it Christian? Is that right? So what did you come to the show for, Christian? To see tools, and it's kind of fun to see the new tools. Learn what's going to make your life easier. Learn what's going to make your installer's life easier, and that's really what we wanted to talk about today. Is how do we impact? You know, how do I make my installer's job easier? How to make my fabricator's job easier? And are we measuring that in our teams and our organizations? You know, the impact that the templater has on the fabrication, that the fabricator has on the installer, and kind of seeing those horizontal impacts that they have on each other. So, you know, what is it that makes your company unique, and what is it that you want to offer? What do you want to, you know, what is that niche? What is that thing that you have that nobody else could offer or could do? Personalized service? Okay. What does that look like, though?
I'm not pushing jobs out left and right. I just take one job at a time and.
So taking one job at a time, getting it right. Yes, someone mentioned yesterday they get the clients involved. You know, they have feedback there. So personalized service. What about?
I know that one of the reasons that it's actually my mom owns the business for it is she got tired of being the middleman between a contractor and the homeowner. She wanted to deal directly with the homeowner.
Gotcha. So dealing directly with the homeowner, and that was kind of a strategy that they used. So dealing directly with, I know companies that say single point of contact is our niche. How we relate to our customers. You know, when you get larger, it gets hard to keep that personalized service. So it sounds like you wanted to go directly with the client versus having the contractor there and educating the client easier. So perfect. You know, so we talk about, you know, what is it that we can offer that no other team can do, you know, as well as we can, and how do we make that part of our culture, part of how we do business, you know? So personalized service, what does that look like and again, your company's name is American Granite, you know, so what does that look like, Dale?
Well, we just try to take, you know, I don't really do a lot of builders. We don't do a lot of production stuff.
But one job, start to stop.
Yeah, pretty much, or two or three overlap. But they can come anytime and be right in the shop and work with us.
A lot of client education.
Out and,
yep.
You know, and then our timelines are pretty good because we don't take on them.
Yep.
So that's what helps. So that's what separates me from a lot of others. I got a faster timeline because I don't do as much volume.
So timeline, being able to limit the projects you take on because you want to perform it with excellence and perform them well. Yep. Perfect. Here's a quick picture. What comes to mind when you see that picture? Shoes? Yep. What else?
See the dog.
The dog? Yeah.
Photo.
Toto? Yeah, I think the point we wanted to make with this picture was, here you have Dorothy that goes through this whole journey, and it's her shoes that she had with her the whole time. And
Yeah.
what was the difference? The difference. What made her get home, so to speak? Clicking the shoes. And who helped her do that? The wizard. Yeah. It was somebody that was outside of her party that said, "Hey, you have the power to get home already." Maybe some help, an outside perspective looking in and saying, "Hey, click your shoes and you'll get home." A lot of us we have the answers already in our own organizations or in our own selves, but we need that little nudge to help us. And that's kind of, we come to these shows and we, hey, we get all this knowledge, but what's going to change on Monday? How are we going to start clicking our heels and putting that change into effect? So the difference was she had the wizard to help her execute that knowledge. So what? And again, we can end up early, but what? These next few slides are something that we work with our employees in our company, and I've used these with permission. They're based on these books. Have you guys ever read these books or heard these? But they talk about a mindset and having an outward mindset. And the concept is that I'm either viewing people as people or people as objects that I use, and or people are either have value or I'm viewing them as an object or a vehicle that I can get something out of, or I'm using them to achieve some type of result. And if we see people as people, then we have what they call an outward mindset. And so one of the things that we talk about is if we take these changes we want to bring back to our company, these heel clicks, if we are clear with them in our company or with our employees, then we feel safe. And the mindset matters, because a lot of times, if we have on the top there, we have our current results right there. Our current behaviors are leading to our current results. And if we want to change that behavior, we have to realize that there's a mindset, how we see things and how we see people behind those external behaviors. We have to realize that, hey, if we want to change and have a different set of desired results, what is it that has to change? That behavior and mindset? Oftentimes we focus on the behavior, and what happens is we take that approach where we say, hey, let's just move the behavior. We want you to do this instead of that. But we don't ever give them the why behind it. We don't ever say, hey, this is why we're not just installing square foot. We're installing the heart of people's homes. We're installing this. We're the tools that we came. Hey, we're not only going to use this new tool, this new finger bit, this new saw blade, but it's going to help cut with less chips, or help cut faster, or help improve that, and give them the reason why, so that they can, because those two are connected. They have behaviors, and there's a kind of a bungee cord that are connected with there. And if you don't ever change the why, what happens is that behavior will shift back to the old results. And kind of an interesting concept. Any thoughts on that? Have you guys experienced that in your organizations? And in relationships too, So, and it's been proven that an organization is 4 times more likely to succeed if they focus on that, changing that mindset versus just the behavior. So the concept is, if we change, both, we can have more lasting desired results that are changed, a more effective way to make changes in our organizations. Taking all these ideas, these new tools, these new processes, these new methods, these things that we want to do to change the results, we've got to focus on the why as well as the external behavior. Anyways, so this one real quick, there's, if you can think of somebody that you want, that your life would be better, that if they would just change, I'm sure we all can think of those types of people, and oftentimes, can we really guarantee that we wouldn't be on somebody else's list? There's really truth to that. So what this is just a little tool that we use we talk, how much time do we spend? Do we spend most of our time on the things that go wrong, or do we spend most of our time on helping the things that go right? And this is just a little model that kind of how we can affect change in our organization. The bottom of the model is improving our mindset, how we see these people, how we see the tasks that we're doing. We build a relationship, we listen and learn, we teach and communicate, and we correct. And those are kind of representative of the amount of time that we spend. And most of the time, this is a healthy way to do it, spending the least amount of time on correcting, teaching and communicate, listening and learn, building relationships. Is that making sense? And what you do is you work from the bottom up. When you're stuck, go lower, and then the mindset matters the most. And what this is this just, most of the time that's what we spend, that's how we do it. We're not really thinking of the person, we're thinking of the person, the person as an object, and we spend most of our time in correct, less time teaching and communicate, less time listening and learning, less time working on the relationship, and we don't even care about what we think about the people or those that we're working on. Kind of an interesting concept, interesting way to look at things. I know I've been guilty of that. Anyways, how much time do we have? You guys are... we got time to watch this show real quick? Okay, we'll watch this and then we'll wrap it up.
So we served the search warrant on this house that had been occupied by some gang members, and the whole purpose of them being there was to sell drugs. And there are several gang members in the house, and we get them all secured and rounded up, and we've separated the main group of the gang members off from this one individual that the detectives wanted to talk to. So he's standing by the couch, and tactical protocol says that we put everybody in a seated position. So I look at this guy and I say, "Sir, I need you to sit down on the couch, please." And he looks me right in the eye and he says, "I'm not sitting down on that couch." But this guy was dead serious, convicted, he's not sitting down. And my initial reaction was to push him down on the couch. I could literally feel my arm moving that way. But I had just been to one of my inaugural Arbinger facilitations. And one of the things we focused on was the influence pyramid. I recognize right away that I'm at the tip of the pyramid, because I'm telling him to do something. I'm making a direct correction, and it's not working. And one of the principles I remember the facilitator emphasizing was that if you're having problems at one level of the pyramid, the solution's generally at a lower level. So I thought, okay, what's the next lowest level? Teach and communicate. So I started explaining to this man why I need him to sit down. I say, "Sir, here's the deal. We're going to be coming in and out of this house with all kinds of equipment to search and photograph evidence. We're going to be moving around a lot. If you're standing up, you're going to be in the way. Other people are going to want to stand up. It's going to prolong our time here, and it's going to make everybody's day longer. So I just really need you to sit down." And I was pretty proud of that effort, by the way. And he looks right at me and says, "Well, that's good, but I'm not sitting down." Now I go back to that natural instinct. Move back up the pyramid, push him down on the couch. But I'm fighting it because I'm thinking I'm going to stay in this. And I'm going to work my way down the pyramid. What's the next level? The next level down from teach and communicate is listen and learn. So I simply ask the question, "Sir, why won't you sit down on the couch?" At that point, he looks at me and says, "I'll tell you why. I was shot a few weeks ago. I've got 7 pins in my knee. The doctor said if I bend this leg, the pins are going to pop out, and I'm going to have 2 more surgeries." He said, "I'm not doing that for anybody." It was like this light bulb went on all of a sudden, and I'm thinking, man, I wouldn't sit down on that couch either. If I was in that position, are you kidding me? Like I just understood in this moment why this guy was so resistant. So I look around, I find this stool, and I said, "I'll tell you what. If I move this stool over here and we can position your legs straight, you can sit down and have your leg on the stool, would you sit down then?" And he says, "Yeah, I'll do that." So we get the stool in position, we help him navigate into a seated position, get his legs straightened out. Everything from there goes smoothly. And I'm sitting there reflecting on this, like in the moment, right? Number one, I'm excited because this worked. Like, something I learned during a training actually worked when I operationalized it, You don't understand how rare that can be. I start reflecting on the potential cost. Like, what would have happened if I would have used the correction and just shoved this guy down? The pins are popping out of his knees. We're going to have to call an ambulance. Now he's getting loaded out of there on a stretcher. Everybody in the neighborhood's going to see that. He's going to tell his version of the story when he gets out of the hospital, and it's not going to sound anything like my version. We're looking at the potential for lawsuits. We're looking at the potential for community complaints. These things are almost certainly going to happen. And even if we win the lawsuit, the cost of litigating it is incredibly high. Man, it just struck me, all these potential consequences, how they were avoided by this short, thoughtful conversation, by working this framework that we had learned in the facilitation. And, you know, it literally took as long to work through that pyramid from the top down as it took to tell the story. And that was the amazing part. It was extremely efficient.
Did that help a little bit? Kind of see how that works? That's kind of interesting, huh? You know, let's go, see if I can go back to. Anyways, you know, just kind of an interesting way to apply that little tool, and that was kind of the whole purpose of this presentation. Is, hey, how are we interacting with our teams? How are we, you know, are we spending most of the time up here in correction, or are we spending the least amount of time in correction, more teaching and communicate, listen and learn, building the relationship, all with having the other person matter like I matter, versus them as an object. Is that making sense? You know, it's kind of an interesting way to look at it. And again, the point of this you know, this presentation was, hey, how do I take these things that I'm learning here at Coverings, how do I take these things, how do I get back into the game and effectively, you know, decide to do this with myself, do this with, I mean, we can't do it. I say this all the time. I've yet to been able to install a job by myself, or maybe fabricate gets a little closer, but we always have to work in teams. We have to work in. And are we constantly thinking of the other person? They matter like I matter. You know, hey, we can do this together. And am I measuring the impact that my team is having on the team next to me? You know, am I, in our company, we talk about handing somebody a turd, you know, or we what am I passing off to the next team? If I'm sales, is it a perfect PO that's going next? You know, if I'm template, is it a perfect shop drawing that's going next with everything labeled correctly? You know, is that making sense? You know, and how is my work impacting the next guy? How is my work impacting my vendors when I'm buying these tools, when I'm buying these materials? You know, how is my work impacting my customers? You know, and are we truly installing and teaching our teams and our crews to, hey, you're not installing this, you know, this isn't just a wham bam square foot, it's in, see you later. This is somebody's, you know, heart and soul of their home. Are we really focusing on the why versus just the what, and just those external behaviors? So anyways, hopefully that was, any thoughts on that, any takeaways? And
Well, I just seen a video a couple weeks ago about a guy. He said he worked for millionaires and billionaires, and he said the one thing they do that most people and the people all around them, if there was an issue that went sideways, that the people would be freaking out. And he said what he learned from working with all these different people was that they stayed calm and were totally calm. And he said the brain works like 20, 30 times more efficient when you're calm than if you get mad over something that breaks or goes sideways and you're all mad and you're raising hell. So then your brain goes into where you go, it takes you down like 20 or 30 notches, and then you start making mistakes because you're frustrated. So that's kind of not in the same line, but I'm trying to teach myself, learn to stay calm, stay focused, figure it out without getting mad.
Yeah, internally you've got to master that so that externally you can, you know, but if you don't ever master it up here, it doesn't matter. You can never, you know, that's why that mindset is that foundation.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Paul?
To me, the right side is the easy button. The left side is the one that takes the time and the dedication, but is going to provide better results. And all too often, if I find myself on the right side, it's because it's quickly and easily able to identify, correct, and move on.
I would almost challenge that a little bit, Paul, saying the right side is the me feel good side. You know, I feel good, you know, correcting. I'm correcting with a stick, you know, versus actually listening and learning. I'm pushing you down on the couch, you know, instantly. That's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. Versus, and I think that, you know, obviously the more effective side is going to be on the left. So yeah, absolutely, Paul. Any other takeaways? Any other thoughts? Like I say, just a quick presentation. on implementing some of the stuff that we learn here and taking it back to our organizations. Again, these are based on that. Let's see if I can get back. Let's talk about it after, Paul.
Okay.
But okay, anyways, let's see if I can. That's all I had. Thank you very much. Any questions before we break? And that was the last. Any takeaways? Any thoughts? Okay, thank you very much, and you guys have a great rest of the show.